Welcome to this class about the sun. Okay, so we're talking about obviously the middle of our solar system, sun. So this picture shows an eclipse, so the moon passing in front of the sun. What's a nice picture. So you can see here the sun's atmosphere when you get an eclipse. Okay, so let's go on to the main bit. So first of all, looking at how did the sun form. So this is a picture from a NASA telescope looking at a star forming in another part of the galaxy. So you've got the star in the middle. And you've got a disk of gas and dust. There's gaps in it where planets are forming. That's actually what's happening there. So the same thing happened 4.5 billion years ago with our sun and our planets. So they formed from this disk of gas and dust known as a planetary nebula. Okay, the nebula is just a dust and gas all together. So in the middle, where it's densest, it collapsed to form the sun. Okay. So the sun's mainly made out of hydrogen and helium, it's mainly made out of gas, and the remaining dust and gas form the planets. Okay, so they all formed at roughly the same time. So the sun, the Earth, and the rest of the planets all are approximately the same age. Okay, all forming at around the same time. Okay, so we look up into the sky. Okay, we see the sun is 150 million kilometers from the Earth. And even though light moves extremely quickly, it still takes 8 minutes to get from the sun to the Earth. Okay, so when you see the sun, you're actually seeing the sun as it was 8 minutes ago. It's taken the light 8 minutes to get from the sun all the way to the Earth. Even though, yeah, light is the fastest thing in the universe, it still takes some time because it's so far away. So the sun is known as a yellow dwarf star. So it's actually one of the smallest, that's what it's called, dwarf, so it's small. So like a dwarf rabbit or something. It's like on the small side of stars. Okay, so that's a good thing for us because it means it's quite stable. Okay, well, some bigger stars in the galaxy are not very stable. It's on the smaller side, but obviously it still emits enough light and heat for survival of life on Earth. Okay, so this is obviously not in the same photo. It's a picture of a telescope, but the Earth's been put in obviously artistically to show just how big the sun is. Okay, so it's so large that 1 million Earths would fit inside its volume. So you could fill it out with Earths, it would fit 1 million Earths inside of it. Okay, it's just so huge. The surface isn't actually as hot as you may think it is. It's 5,800 degrees Celsius, but the core, so right inside the sun, like the core of an apple, right inside it, is 15 million degrees Celsius. Okay, and it emits light and heat through the process of nuclear fusion. So actually, a hydrogen gas inside it sticks together and produces energy. That's known as nuclear fusion. Okay, so I'm just going to go back there. So in radius, it's about 100 Earth radius, but the volume is 1 million Earth would fit inside it. I forgot to say something about this picture here. Is about this is what's called as so part of the solar flare. What that is the sun just suddenly throws off a lot of gas and ionized, so charged particles every now and again. Okay, sometimes you hear people talking about it on news. It's not that drastic for life, as in that if you're standing outside, you're not going to get roasted by it. But it can interfere with electronics. That's why people talk about it. It's not going to harm you as such as a living being, but it can interfere. So solar flares can interfere with electronics. Okay, so why is the sun important to life? So this is I took this picture myself. It's a nice picture of the sun sort of lighting up the clouds and the grass. I wanted to show plants and things. So we need the sun's heat because the Earth would freeze over without it. So if the sun suddenly disappeared, don't worry, it's not going to. The sun suddenly disappeared, that our planet would freeze over. Okay, so it's covered in ice. So we need heat. We also need the light from the sun. So it's still a bit more complex. Okay, so the sun provides the light is needed for plants, for the green plants, okay, to undergo photosynthesis. So you may study that also in school, but photosynthesis. And all animals on the Earth, so obviously us included, rely on plants. Okay, we rely on them for oxygen, photosynthesis, and we rely on them to actually eat. Okay, as well. So that's why we sort of need the sun's light and the sun's heat. Okay, so that's a brief kind of introduction to the sun. Okay, remember the sun's a star. Remember it emits light and heat through nuclear fusion. It's 150 million kilometers from the Earth. Okay, so I look forward to seeing you in another class to do with the rest of the solar system, but that was the introduction to the sun. Thank you for listening and goodbye.